Good morning, everybody. I'm Ryan Gilkerson, and you don't want to miss out on today's Coffee Cup where we talk about tips for marketing automation that might change your business. I am the creative lead here at Company 119. We're a digital marketing company out of Chardon, Ohio, that's very glad to have you with us today. And hopefully, by the end of today's episode, you're going to know more about marketing automation and you're going to feel better about incorporating some of these tips into your workspace. I did rely on some help from friends, but as you'll see in our first point from today's coffee cup, that's perfectly fine. When you're getting content, you can get content from other people. It doesn't all have to come from you. Today's content that I'm going to share is from an article called 5 Marketing Automation Tips for Small Business. It was published by Forbes magazine. John, if you want to go ahead and show them what it looks like, this is what it's going to look like when you're looking it up online. Written by Matthew Sweezy. He's from the Forbes Communication Council, and it was written back in May for Forbes magazine. I really like Forbes when they break down some simple tips for marketing automation because they're always from a perspective of trying to help you make money. And I love that. And what are you doing all this for if you're not trying to make money? So Forbes had 5 marketing automation tips that I think are really cool, that are going to be really simple for you to incorporate into your business. The number one is expand your idea of content. That's exactly what we're doing here today. Content doesn't all have to come from you. As long as you're crediting the right sources, as long as you're giving credit to the people that wrote it, you're going to be fine. Everything online has a URL. This article from Forbes has a URL, which means that's shareable content. Whether you want to write a synopsis on your own blog online, whether you want to share it on your social media, it's all content that's there for you to share. And the best part about it is if you link to other places, they might link back to you eventually, and link building is a huge part of your strategy when you're talking about SEO. So here's some things you can do. Link to some other Twitter accounts. Find some Twitter accounts for people that are leaders in your industry, or even just thought leaders that you think people that are interested in you and your company might be interested in. Link to them. Share their links. Let people see who you follow. They might be inspired. And then also you can link to other LinkedIn profiles. That's another great way. Link to other people in your industry or other people from your company even, and share their links. That's content as well. Even though it's just sharing a link, you can build content around it, and that's how you build up your portfolio of content. You can also share a link to a relevant blog. That's what we're talking about today. That's what we call curated content. Curated content is content that you didn't create, but you're using to promote yourself. So there's lots of different ways, but when you're talking about marketing automation, you want to think outside the box. It doesn't have to be this burden on you where you have to create all of this content. You can actually create different types of content by using other people's content. Another great way to share content, this wasn't in the Forbes article, but what we're doing with our podcast here could be done for you. We do a Facebook Live podcast. That podcast goes to YouTube. We then take the YouTube link and we share it on our website. And we write a synopsis on our website. We also have a transcription that's going to be going on the website of all of these episodes. That's all content. Then we share it on our social media pages, LinkedIn, Facebook. And before you know it, we've created 5 pieces of content off of this one basic piece of content. And that's what you've got to be thinking about. How can you add more content to your automation strategy? Another thing that Forbes talks about is stage-based marketing. And this is so important when you're talking about marketing automation. You're really looking to reach people at different points of communication and at different touch points in their journey so that you can effectively reach them with the right type of communication when it means the most. So when you're looking at that sales funnel, people want different types of content depending on where they are in that sales funnel. If you're at that research phase, you're at the very top of the funnel and you're just kind of collecting information, you want a lot of information usually. So that's when longer form blogs, white papers, things like that are really effective at the top of that sales funnel. But by the time you get to the bottom and you're at the selection phase where you're ready to make your decision, you want very targeted, specific, direct, quick hit types of information. So what you need to do is come up with your strategy of the best types of communication to reach people with and when it's effective the most. And when you can do that, you're going to reach customers in the way that they want to be addressed at that stage in the journey. I think that's a great strategy. You want to really be agile with that. You also want to build effective programs. When you're talking about your nurturing programs, you want to be able to give, you want to build them in stages. You don't have to do it all at once when you're developing a nurturing program. And you can change it as things don't work. Now, what a nurturing program is we might reach out, for us, for example, we reach out with some informational touch points along the way. to nurture the relationship that we have with our customers that already exist for us. So we reach out to an existing client base that we're already doing business with in an attempt to gain more business from them. So with our nurturing program, we might send out just a very basic informational email, for example. And then based on how our customers interact with that email, they might get different types of emails going forward so that they're constantly getting information, but again, that it's agile enough to reach them the way that they like to have that information communicated with them. You don't have to do it all at once. It doesn't have to stay the same. You can change it. You can do A/B testing with different types of emails. There's lots you can do. And this works for display ads as well, your ad campaigns. You can do it there too. But you just want to be able to take that information and space it out for your customers so they're not getting bombarded with information, but also be nimble enough to say, if my customer interacts with this piece of information in this way, we're going to take them down this nurturing journey. If they don't interact with it this way, we're going to take them down this path and go to this nurturing journey. There's lots of different ways you can work a nurturing journey. You just have to be effective with it and make sure you know your customers to build that journey. And then you want to get buy-in from your sales team. And I think this is something that is very, very important. Nobody knows how to talk to your customers or sell to your customers like your sales team does. They were there during that whole process. They remember what your customers were telling them when they first met. They remember what was effective in getting them to buy into your product. So why not go back to your sales team as you're developing this strategy and get their input? Go to your top salesperson and say, hey, listen, what kind of emails are you sending out to your customers along the way? All that marketing automation is doing is taking that same approach that your sales team is using and then making it so that they don't have to do all the emails manually. They don't have to reach out manually every single time. For me, there's emails that I use to talk to customers, but there's also the social media piece when I reach out to customers. If you can automate that, it's great, but you don't want to use that. You lose that personal touch that your sales team is giving to your customers. That's what makes them effective. So you want to make sure to incorporate your sales team in this process. And then the other thing is leave room to grow. Lastly, you want to leave room so that you're not stuck in the same cycle with your marketing automation and you're not able to adapt and change, which, as we said before, is so important. There's lots of solutions out there for marketing automation. At our company, Company 119, we use a couple of different platforms. MailChimp is one that we use quite often. We do a lot of things with that. Marketo is one that we use a lot, but the one that we use more often than anybody is a platform called SharpSpring. We're actually a gold teammate of SharpSprings, and we have a great relationship with them. But we use these platforms because they incorporate the sales side. They incorporate our strategies for our marketing and our emails. They incorporate some of the social media side. We also use Hootsuite for some of that. But if you can use their software and their platforms, you're going to see that you can get a lot out of the analytics that they give to you, and they leave you room to make those adjustments and grow going forward. This is where a lot of businesses get into trouble. They start to have these basic needs, and they come up with a basic automation strategy, and then 2 or 3 years down the road, they're still using that same strategy, and they're stuck in a rut. So make sure you get creative, not only with the content that you're putting out, but with the strategies that you have in place and with the channels that you use to distribute those strategies. So listen, there's 5 tips for you right there from Forbes magazine in terms of what you could do to make your marketing automation strategy stronger. You know what that means? You just learned more about marketing automation strategy before you finished your first cup of coffee than your competition will all day. Thanks for joining us. We've got a special guest coming up tomorrow, and soon on the Coffee Cup, we're going to be talking to some tastemakers that really make branding effective. So I can't wait to give that to you. Enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow.